In 2006, the worldwide chess governing body, FIDE, announced a partnership with Paramount Pictures to permanently replace one of the rooks in chess with the character Shrek to promote the upcoming release of Shrek the Third. Shrek instantly became the best piece in the game, with the capability to move just like the queen, but also the ability to roar and scare opposing pieces off of the board within a 1 square radius. This completely changed the game of chess, rendering centuries of strategic knowledge completely obsolete and utterly confusing even world champion level players like Magnus Carlsen. In the very same year, poker added the Joker card back into competitive events, including Texas Hold'em. Functioning as a wild card that players could designate as anything they wished, the Joker immediately became the most useful card in the game by far, frustrating longtime tournament players like Phil Hellmuth. Okay, obviously neither of those things actually happened. Chess and poker haven't meaningfully changed in hundreds of years. But in 2006, the Scrabble equivalent of this did happen, and it changed the game forever. As I've described in previous videos, the Scrabble dictionary gets updated regularly to reflect recent changes in language. The 2005 update to the OSPD, which took effect in competitive play in 2006, had by far the biggest impact on the game of Scrabble. In this update, 4,000 words were added, a similar amount to past updates. But in this update, Qi was added to North American Scrabble play. Qi is a word of Chinese origin referring to the vital energy of the human body. As practices like acupuncture and Tai Chi have steadily become more popular around the world, including North America, Qi has become more of an established concept as well. The Scrabble dictionary has tens of thousands of playable words, so the effect of just one individual word's inclusion in the dictionary is typically quite limited. But it's hard to imagine a word that could have a bigger impact on the game than this one. The Q is notoriously difficult to use in Scrabble because of its extreme reliance on the U. Over 1,500 words of lengths 2 to 9 letters contain a Q. Of those words, 97% contain a U. With only 4 U's in the tile bag, you'll frequently draw the Q without a U to go with it, making it nearly impossible to use. Yes, the Q is worth 10 points, but that doesn't mean much if you can't form any words with it. Enter Qi. Now, instead of desperately needing a U, you can play the Q with an I as well, sometimes even for a lot of points. Scrabble players of all levels already know that Qi is a very useful word, but how often does it actually get played? In a data set of 10 million games played between cutting-edge Scrabble AI programs using the North American Dictionary, Qi was played as a primary word in 27% of games. The next closest word is cat, coming in at 10%. Followed by, you guessed it, the plural cheese at 5%. In a game with literally tens of thousands of playable words, the fact that Qi and its plural are played this often by computer engines that know every word in the dictionary speaks volumes. Of course, in Scrabble, your primary wordplay will sometimes make additional overlapping words. Taking that into account, Qi dominates even more, appearing either as a primary word or an overlap in 57% of Scrabble games. The immediate impact of the 2006 update in competitive play was an increase of 10 points per game across the board. That might not sound like much, but it was an unprecedentedly large increase, and Qi is easily the biggest reason why. To really understand the impact of this one word, it's helpful to look at some examples from the dark times before its arrival. Here's a game from the 2004 National Championship between everybody's favorite legendary champion, Nigel Richards, and longtime Texan expert Cheryl Tyler. Late in the game, Nigel takes a small lead, but Cheryl is about to pull off an incredible upset, bingoing with a loined to take a solid lead and drawing the last 2 tiles from the bag. Those 2 tiles are QS, and she has 2 spots to play Chi for the easy win, except that it's not 2006 yet. There are no spots she can play her Q in this game. And recognizing this, Nigel comes up with a clever endgame sequence to maximize the value of his remaining tiles, catching Cheryl with her unplayable Q and narrowly winning the game. This type of endgame was significantly more common in the past than it is now. The Q was often a disaster in the early game as well. Take a look at this game from the Canadian Championship in 2005 between 2 former World Scrabble champions, David Boys and Adam Logan. After Adam's first move, David draws the Q and he has a simple place to play Chi for a good score, leaving strong bingo tiles. But again, because the update hadn't taken place yet, he's forced to exchange the Q instead. After both players bingo, David draws the Q for a second time and exchanges it again. He draws the blank and bingos with his highest scoring move of Tundras. But imagine his frustration as Adam now draws the Q and the U of Tundras gives him a bingo of Queasier. Tournament players consider the Q to be the worst tile in the game with Chi in the lexicon. Without Chi, the Q was downright awful. Keep in mind, too, that the 2006 update had much more than just Chi. It also contained another top 5 most common word in za, as well as the Hebrew letter fe, the interjection oi, and ki, a Japanese variation of Chi of particular interest to martial artists. Normally, words like these would have been the headliners in any dictionary update, since 2-letter words are so pivotal to the competitive game, but Chi is in a class by itself. That a word like Chi could make such an impact on the game is something that I actually really love about Scrabble. None of these additions change the core principles that make Scrabble so fun to play, but they ensure that the game never gets stale over time. Language evolves in unpredictable ways, but I have a hard time imagining a word making a bigger impact on Scrabble than Chi.